In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my recipe for making fire cider, a popular herbal remedy that I'm also imbuing my magic into. I like to make this around this time to support my body and my mind and my emotional body and my spiritual body through all kinds of grief as well as illnesses, toxins in the body throughout the winter season. So do grab yourself a nice warm drink, settle back, relax and enjoy. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. Today I am going to be making a fire cider. I made this for the first time last year and I absolutely relied upon it throughout the year with coughs and colds and bugs. It actually lasted all the way up until October, until one morning I smelt it and I thought, that is not something I want to be taking. It was just the smell it turned. So it was quite easy to know, but basically it lasted for about 10 months, which I thought was fantastic. 9 to 10 months, which I think is probably more than other people would suggest you keep it for, but it definitely did the job for that time for me. So I'm going to be making it again today and sharing the process with you. So the ingredients I'm going to be using here are very similar to the ones I used last year. I still have last year's recipe included in my Yule vlog from last year, so if you do want to go and check that out, please do. Today I'm just going to be sharing the process with you again. So fire cider, if you don't already know, it has a lot of antibacterial, antifungal properties that are supposed to, heat up the body and the blood and keep the bugs at bay, essentially. And I know there's not very scientific terms, but essentially it's natural forms of antibacterial, antifungal properties and minerals and vitamins that are going to be supporting your body to get rid of any bugs that enter your system, really. So fire cider is really, really great for colds and flus. I use Rosemary Gladstar's basic recipe as a base, and then I've added a few other things. So I have, to start with, a lemon, of course, really, really great for coughs and colds and flu, and I always have lemon water with Manuka honey whenever I've got a bug at all. I sort of rely on it for sore throats. I have fennel, which again has so many like vitamins and minerals to support the body. Chillies, which of course are going to bring that heat. Garlic, rosemary, this is for protection and also for remembrance, as well as, like, again, the antibacterial properties. Onion, I'm using a red onion this year. Last year I used a yellow onion, but you can use either. I think that for me, the red onion's more preferable. Horseradish, this is really, really fiery and potent, and it is basically gonna just boot out any of those bugs. The orange, this is really, really beautiful for abundance, and it just sort of screams luxuriousness, and I always think of like the women at Christmas, Yule time, winter solstice. Turmeric, again, that real heat, fire, and lots of ginger. So I'm going to be essentially like chopping these up and adding them in to my jar. This is a different jar than I used last year, actually. Last year I used a slightly larger one and I did not use up all of my fire cider, as I said. So I'm doing a slightly smaller batch this year. And then I have my raw organic apple cider vinegar, and it has the mother in it. Basically that's like the starter. So it says here it contains the mother, unfiltered, unpasteurized. So this is what you need in order for it to be really, really potent. So as I go, as with all of my kitchen witchery recipes, I'm always imbuing my intention as I go. And this, of course, can be really personal for you. Obviously, this is about health and wellness, but I also want it to be really holistic. So not just my body, but also to be for my mind and my heart, my spirit, my soul, all of those areas, like really holistic, because I really do believe that all these things are interconnected. So I'm going to be doing that, and I'm going to talk you through it. So first of all, I'm going to chop up my red onion. I chose to use a red onion because I just feel it's got more antibacterial properties in it. The colour is also just really vibrant, and I actually prefer the taste of them. Onions absorb negative energies, both magically as well as actual toxins in the body and impurities, so they're really, really good in that way for absorbing anything that is in the body, bacterial, and just fighting off that. And again, they can be used in banishing workings and protection workings. They are obviously a really common vegetable that many people cook with, so it's a really lovely way to imbue your magic in with some kitchen witchery, of course. I have also read that they have been used for swearing oaths by the ancient Egyptians, and I understand as well that they can be really useful in fertility magic, sex magic. And appropriately, Mars is the ruling planet of onions, and the element is fire. So now I'm just placing these onions in the bottom of the jar, and I do suspect the jar is going to be really packed full by the end of this. Next up, I'm using a turmeric root, and I'm just taking off like the really gnarly bits, and then I'm going to chop it as finely as I can. You could grate this as well. Turmeric is really magical. It's like gold, and it turns everything yellow, so you want to be really careful with it. It's really, really popular in Southern Asian cooking, and it is native to South Asia as well as parts of the Pacific, and it has been used for thousands of years medicinally. It is known for treating inflammation in the body as well as heart disease, improving liver function, and diabetes. It has also been used as a dye. It is quite similar to ginger in terms of its spice. Magically, I see it as a really luxurious item to have because it's quite hard to get. So I consider it to be quite sacred in my practice. It also represents wealth and abundance, happiness, joy, success, prosperity with the light of the sun. I also think that there's a lot of virility, fertility there, as well as strength, capacity for healing, and it can be used for protection as well. It's said that it can protect against any malevolent spirits, as the smell is so potent. The ruling planet of turmeric is Jupiter, and I consider it to be quite earthy in terms of element. It's also very fiery, of course, and some people have ascribed it to the element of air. Just as turmeric, ginger root is in the same family, and again has been used for thousands of years in Ayurvedic as well as Chinese medicines. It's known for its use for the digestive system, supporting people experiencing nausea or sickness. It's also really lovely for any muscle pains, aches, inflammations. It's also really, really good for circulation and digestion, of course. Again, has so many antibacterial, antifungal elements and benefits. It's really warming to the system, so it's really, really good for those who are cold in an Ayurvedic sense. Similarly to turmeric, again, I see a lot of the same properties magically. So abundance, wealth, prosperity, joy, happiness, health, wellness, virility, fertility. There's that fire there, passion, drive, energy. I can really see myself going after my goals with ginger. I would also think of it as a really, really beautiful offering to make to certain deity. Some suggest that the ruling planet of ginger is the sun, and others suggest Mars. So again, I would say that I feel that this has a lot of fire element as well as the earth element, because again, it's a root. Horseradish is again a root. This one though is really fiery in a kind of mustardy way. It was known in the Middle Ages in Europe to treat scurvy and also treating worms in children, as well as healing liver and the spleen and sciatica or joint pain or swelling. It's really, really sharp and bitter, and it stings your nose when you taste it, and it's often used nowadays creamed or grated, and it's eaten with beef and roasted meats. Because it's such a strong antioxidant and antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory, it's used in so many medicinal ways still today, especially to treat upper respiratory tract and urinary tract infections. The ruling planet is Mars again, so I would say that whilst this is fiery, it's also earthy because it's a root. I would suggest that magically this can be really useful for protection, banishing, exorcism, and warding off any malevolent spirits or any energies that linger. I think it could just cleanse those energies right out the space. So really, really powerful and potent. Next up is fennel, which is a part of the aniseed family, and fennel is under the rulership of Mercury. It's said to support with digestive issues, stomach issues, urinary tract issues, as well as a treatment for poison. It's also really, really good for shortness of breath and wheezing of the lungs, and can also support the liver, the spleen, and the gall. Whilst Mercury is the ruling planet, the ruling element is the fire element, but I do also see the air there because of mercurial influence. And in terms of magic, it can be really, really good for communication, courage, empathy, strength, for protection, purification, for blessings, for attracting money and strength and success. And other members of the anise family are also known to be really good for promoting psychic abilities and visions as well. The Mediterranean herb rosemary is ruled by the sun and of course is an excellent anti-inflammatory. It's used for upset stomachs and rheumatism. Magically, it's used for remembrance, for protection, strength, and for calming anxiety. Chilies, of course, are fiery and hot and under rulership of Mars and obviously associated with fire. Chilies are really good for circulation and for fertility. It is also said that eating a hot meal will bring on labor if you are pregnant. Magically, it's really commonly used in protection, releasing stagnant energies, blockages, banishings, hexes and curses in baneful magic as well. Garlic is again another that is under the rulership of Mars and it has a really strong scent. For that reason, it can really keep malevolent spirits at bay and it has been used to remedy many ailments. It was used as a treatment for the plague, for ulcers, spots, sores, blemishes. It was also used on abscesses to treat jaundice as well as cramps and colds, and it's also used in cardiovascular health today and as a blood thinner. Magically, it's great for powers of focus, determination, energy, courage. It's a really good healer, of course, but it's really strong and powerful. It has all the same strength that the other herbs we've looked at does in terms of potency, for purification, for banishment, for aggression, purification, as well as sex magic. Next up, I'm grating in some lemon and some orange, both citrus fruits, of course, and whilst orange is associated with the sun, so I would consider it to be quite fiery. Lemon is associated with Jupiter. I see them both as really cleansing, really purifying, but also really, really beautiful for energy boosting and for happiness, for vitality, laughter, friendship, and purification, if I didn't already say that, cleansing, as well as abundance, especially the orange for abundance, wealth, prosperity, magic. The lemon I see more as a cleansing option, but I do use both of these quite a lot in my practice, especially in washes and in sprays and in oils that I create. Next up, I'm adding my apple cider vinegar. Because it's got the mother, I really consider this to be very kind of crone-like with an ancient sort of wisdom. And I consider this to have all of the properties of apple. So the ruling planet is Venus, of course, and the element of water and air, and the correspondences of love, protection, strength, fertility, friendship, generosity, abundance, blessings, harmony, healing. I like to imbue that all in there with my intentions. Now I managed to fill about 400 milliliters of apple cider vinegar in this 600 milliliter jar. So I gave it a shake and added a little bit more vinegar to it, and then I labelled it and set it to rest. And you want to leave this for between 4 to 6 weeks, and then you want to strain out the vegetable matter, so you just have the liquid, and you want to add in 2 to 3 tablespoons of raw manuka honey, and that is my preference. I think this year I'm going to be using raw local honey, so it's not necessarily manuka, but it is raw. I really hope that you've enjoyed this video, that this has been helpful. Do let me know if you recreate this recipe, if you add anything else. Do share with me your photos and leave me a comment below if you've made this, if you make any other herbal remedies. I'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button, share it with anyone who you think would also get value from it. Subscribe if you're not yet subscribed, and hit the notification bell to receive notifications when I create new videos. I have an Instagram page and a TikTok page. I also have a Patreon where I share new and full moon forecasts along with a tarot spread, how to work with the aspects, etc., and some ritual ideas, crystals and herbs to work with. I also occasionally share Book of Shadows pages that I create, including some of the rituals and recipes that I share here on the channel. So do go over and support me there if you would wish to. I am sending you so many blessings for the year to come, and I hope you've had a really restful holiday wherever you are, whatever you've been doing. So many blessings to you, and I look forward to seeing you again really soon.